Millionaires don't have time for astrology. Billionaires, royalty, and your shadow government, they understand the meaning of every eclipse, while the peasants work themselves into poverty without a clue. I'm going to sound pissy for a minute before I get to Gemini. All right, quick rant. Someone please finish this sentence for me. Thank God they went to the moon. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. What'd you get? You'd have your phone, internet, your PlayStation. You'd have that. Is it bullshit national pride? You know, they attach vague things like future commerce to the benefits of the lunar landing. What the hell is that? I feel all us peasants got for the past 70 years is bullshit national pride. I can't pretend to be impressed with SpaceX anymore either. Great. Now we have 2 super expensive things to tease us about outer space. 3 if you include Hollywood. All 3 have gotten us where? As far as humanity is concerned, all the spending and showmanship got us to the next closest celestial object and back. Okay. They also like to shoot celebrities into shallow space sometimes. Thank you. Like, what's really the difference between shooting a monkey into space back in the 50s and firing Katy Perry up there when she went? You know, same trick, just one had more makeup. They owe us a new trick. Hell, they owe our grandparents something new for all that flag waving they did back then. Rocket propulsion is clearly not the way to explore the cosmos, but we continue to hurl money and applaud a program that has no plan, no intention of improvement, because they can't settle their erections for fuel-based travel. If you're waiting for those guys to bump into alien life and force disclosure, or to just produce anything useful for you from all those resources used up on your behalf, no, they don't have a next step. Rocket propulsion was obviously first, but they're making it the only. It looks like it's as far as we're going. They're having too much fun and absorbing too much of your adoration to move forward. Now they just hurl unmanned probes and pray the radio signals hold, and we call that exploration because we're settling for something even Columbus would scoff at. The aliens can't reveal themselves until we figure out a few more things down here. It's on us down here for disclosure. We have to connect as equals when it happens. Until then, Hollywood gets to take advantage of this with their dumb little movies that satisfy your curiosity. Here's a quick secret. You have no interest in Mars, ever. There is nothing on Mars for you, ever. After years of driving around, those rovers have not found anything you want. What the hell are they still selling us? They need to sell you over and over again their same trick that does not include your participation. It has not. It will not. Then they tell us about space junk like it's your fault. You ever think maybe that's as far as those in control want us to go? Just far enough to place weird machinery in our planet's orbit? This is why we will not be advancing beyond rocket propulsion. Anything else is too much freedom. We develop ourselves as far as we need to for the big boys to place their precious satellites so they can talk over us. Rocket propulsion was a one-trick pony. They get everything they want from this one thing for the past 70 years. What do you get? More Hollywood, more Spielberg. All because you're mystified about what's going on out there and you're too satisfied with their fiction to look yourself. Listen, you can go anywhere. I've been to other constellations. You've probably lived in other constellations because your soul is older than the stars. You have no idea where your soul has been until you've asked. All right? I've met Gaia, the sun, and the moon as equals to learn what they all really are. And I never stole a dime from you to do it. In meditation, I've reached out with the serpent of the third eye, the human heart that connects to all things, whether we use it or not, to receive some crazy, awesome data from our galaxy. Hollywood's a joke the second you learn reality. I've done energy work on the surface of Saturn, and I can feel the colossal beings of Jupiter from here. These are future videos. Okay? This message was going to be about Scorpio, but when I sat down, Gemini took over. So, this message is what you can find when you take the time to ask and make the room to receive the answers. So long ago that we can't remember. This is beyond our recorded history. Our wise men, our planet's sages, looked up to the stars with their hearts, not just their physical eyes, and they received information, stories about the people that lived the big events that occurred among the stars. I'm so far beyond the silly question of, is there life out there? I'm telling you the events they lived through in order to become great teachers of the cosmos. You guys have no idea what you're looking at when you see those little lights in the sky, or what we're really accomplishing here as humanity. This is what my channel is all about. I'm fixing this for you. To mark the achievements, earthly symbols were given to the different areas of our night sky. These are our constellations, same for Native American and Chinese versions. Their spiritual leaders found that there is so much information coming at us from these stars that needed to be mapped and documented. Give some respect, okay? People today think they don't have time for astrology. So, you all live worse lives than you should. You don't know yourself. More therapy, more pills. So long as you're focused on incorrect things, you're going to have all sorts of bad feelings. Denying astrology means you're walking around with much less information than what's available to you. If you're sitting around, I don't know what to do with my life, get yourself to a psychic fair, get your star chart. I think it's called your North Node. What you're supposed to be doing here. So every constellation has a symbol. The symbol is a clue, trying to describe to the rest of the class the most spiritually advanced species of all those stars and what they overcame to become that. The zodiac are special to humanity because they survived the 12 major lessons humanity needs to learn to advance, to evolve itself, and they were tough. They are literally radiating the glory of their achievements at us. And if you think that's epic, it's all so we would become like a super zodiac constellation by the time we graduate. By the time we graduate, we get over our dumb little selves. Our star will be radiating the lessons of all 12 combined. When we're finally done here with our little dramas, this is when we get our 50,000 years of joy and peace. We got to choose that day. We can start it today. Okay, and it's not 50,000 years. It's as long as we want it. The 50,000 is symbolic of itself. It means turnaround, change. So if you went sour grapes upon hearing about this change, this oncoming change, you went bah humbug, you're probably going to get the next plague. Sorry. COVID tried to teach us something. Tried to make us change, okay? We didn't learn how to change, how to be flexible, okay? It's going to have to come back harder. Okay? More info on this in the mythological epic, the 12 Labors of Heracles. It's all there in symbolism. The things that were accomplished there and the things we accomplished here in our forgotten history. Okay? Last message, but our mythology is all clues. It's trying to tell us the things that were so horrible to record verbatim of what happened in our forgotten, the dark void of our collective history, the things that we don't have. Okay, our mythology is trying to give us clues to it, and the constellations is part of it. I'll be filling you in a lot. Last message I told you about what's going on at Cassiopeia. When you skip the dumb question of, are we alone in the universe? You man up and just start getting the answer. Stop asking for a disclosure and just go. You run into some incredible stories. Just go. Go in. Let yourself be told stories from spirit. We got to stop asking the shiftless layabouts in impressive suits for things. We got to stop acting like this universe wasn't built for us. You are 1/3 of the universe. One of your many subtitles is child of the universe. There's child, mom and dad. Feminine, masculine, and child. You're not masculine or feminine. You are a child. Emulating everything, anything you want this entire time. Okay? One of your many subtitles is explorer. You are not here to shy away from any honest learning. Okay? Our mistake is always expecting others to do it for us. When there's, the scientists do it for us. There's always some professor in some university that's going to figure out everything for us. There's not. Okay? There's such an advantage in doing it yourself and keeping it a secret. We force the government to do a lot of things in our stead. We force them to be wealthy so that we're not. We do this. We ask them to be the boss because we're too scared to take responsibility for the big stuff. We may as well ask them to have access to the outside of this planet so we can sit and wonder forever, right? Looking like idiots. Keep everyone wondering, or else all of Hollywood space and alien movies lose their merit in a day. If you knew fact, you wouldn't go so crazy for their fiction. This is their greatest terror in Hollywood. What would Star Trek look like if we finally went out there and did it ourselves? And it's all waiting for you to try. Real disclosure takes away Hollywood's, half of their possibilities, at least half, in producing new alien space movies. If there's real disclosure, okay, we can't do this, it goes away. This is true, so let's not do it, okay? And too bad, because I'm telling you about it anyway. Today I'm telling you the secrets we've been missing from Gemini, because what we have now from astrology is just what's allowed. I'm giving you what's not been allowed yesterday, but is allowed now, literally. I tried to make this channel 2 years ago and I couldn't. I'll explain that too. Wasn't allowed. But when I started chilling Gemini, so I guess Scorpio will be next. You got to roll with these things when Spirit takes over. So remember when I tell you this, Spirit, as I explained Gemini, Zodiac is special because they're radiating the lessons they learned over there by living through the difficulties their symbols represent. When they achieved their mastery of the lesson, the residents were heavily gifted. Okay, because it patched something that was wrong with this universe. And I'll be telling you more about this throughout all my videos. But yes, this universe still has flaws. The way to fix the flaws, instead of waiting everything out and starting over, because you get more when you go through it. You live through the problems. Someone has to live through the problems that the mistake creates. Okay? And apparently here it was so bad it had to be divided into 12 parts first. This is the Zodiac. This is big stuff. So the people at Leo learned about government leadership, okay, and how feminine energy is leadership. We have yet to apply that lesson here. Still stuck with little Donnie in charge, and he's got a bunch of people behind him waiting to take over too. So after him, okay? We have the ego leading every nation on earth right now. Masculine doesn't lead. Masculine energy does not lead. It supports. Okay? Feminine energy leads. Every single leader on earth is an egomaniac. Only ego can get humans through an election game show process where the leadership isn't a job, but a prize to be awarded. It's an award. We've made it this way. Whoops. I don't know. I think our grandparents or great-grandparents did it. Somewhere down the line, it went from job to prize. This happened. A female drenched in ego does not create feminine leadership. This is why 2 females have failed so far. And this is why you will fail if you try. The most of us are trying to live beyond ego. We're trying to be better. Gemini. Astrology tells you that the area of space is known for being of the twins symbolism. And that's a good symbol. That has the potential for some real depth because we're getting into family and likeness aspects. NASA just wants us to tell you that those stars are just huge burning farts. And they deserve lots and lots of money for that story. And oh yeah, they're never taking you there. By inquiring, to me, that's just disrespect. I'm sorry. And, they pride themselves on working with stars, and they say shit like that. By inquiring, by going inside yourself with nothing else, a mind still silent pond, when it's just you and your question, there's room for the answer. Forget your desires and the things you think are begging for your attention. Put your phone in the next room and sit until you're told a coherent story. Light some incense, smoke a bowl, do what it takes to clear your mind. Okay? And you'll find Gemini isn't exactly twins, especially not like here on Earth. The beings of Gemini, of those stars, went through hell and back to learn that we are all twins. Give me 1 minute. I don't care what you look like. If you're going to Gemini, I don't care what you look like. From here to the other end of the universe, as children of this universe, we are all zeros. Okay? We like to go around and believe we gather things, and eventually we gather enough. We are mighty. Okay? Our bank account's big enough. I got a nice enough car. Hot enough wife. This still happens. We are children playing with toys, and all is allowed. Okay? The universe loves when we play. In fact, okay? If you're old enough, and some people aren't, because it was 20-some years ago. But do you remember years back when the Fast and Furious franchise started? There's a spike in motorheads. People had big interest in cars all of a sudden, souping them up. Showing them off loud mufflers and 4-foot-high spoilers, lights on bottom, tinted windows, fancy rims. No one seems to be doing that anymore. But I'll tell you, Spirit loves when people do stuff like that. When waves of interest go through us like that. When we bring some creativity and expression out. Created a lot of events and get-togethers too, like Cruise Nights. I don't know if we do that anymore, especially after COVID. But we need each other for things like that, to put on the show. Our higher selves, pay attention, our higher selves are watching us from the outside. You didn't learn that in elementary school, did you? We are all here in bodies on Earth, and at the same time, we are the dark that is outside the universe. You look out there, yes. What is that? It's you. Oh boy. We need each other to realize the things that were realized at Gemini. We need to work the dumbness, the bad energy, the bad ideas out with each other until we realize that we are the same and we make it matter here on Earth. This fixes the universe. That's what we're doing here. We're on the outside, and our bodies, our soul, spirit here, is tools. Our tools. We're fixing things here. You don't get it yet. You will. But what we do here fixes the universe. So our bodies are different. Our minds all work a little differently from each other. And someday we'll appreciate that instead of feeling like someone has to be wrong all the time. But that's politics. That would get rid of politics if we did that. So apparently, yeah, obviously Gemini doesn't have politics like we do, or stupid ass politics all year, every 4 years. Jesus. When are we going to get sick of it? I don't know. When are we going to learn? All it does is we don't get nothing out of it. We don't. Gemini learned all this. Gemini learned that every time I allow myself to get furious about someone else, I'm just punching myself in the head. And the person I hate has no idea. They are unharmed. But my heart rate just took a month off my life as I throw my little tantrum. You know, I see this, people yelling at the TV for football games. Dude, you're dying. Getting mad at the other team for winning, Ugh. In the beginning and at the end, we are all nothing. We are free to pretend, though, the entire time we're here. We are free to play and gather titles and pretend we have duties to fulfill and tasks to perform and responsibilities to things other than ourselves. We are even free to hurt ourselves. When we pretend too hard, we get heavy with emotion, and the energy has to be worked out. On Earth, this means war. Well, now, war, we have war, to protect corporations, but and their interests. In Gemini, it meant war on a cosmic scale. They had to work through the energy they accrued through harming each other while they lived entirely without the Gemini lesson. On an interstellar level, not seeing themselves as sane beings at all, and living through all the problems thinking and feeling like that produces. It's a big one. We still need this one here. We need this applied here. They had slavery in ways we couldn't here. Imagine having one planet that produces nothing but slaves for like 5 different empires. Every single person is born, and the only question is which empire are going to buy it first. They had oppression spanning entire star systems they had to work themselves out of. And I'm sure plenty of heroes were produced. The twins also symbolizes their reward. To find themselves in each other is a big deal. Okay, Gemini is now a place we can go in our true spirit forms to realign with that lesson. I keep giving you guys tips on what I gathered from making contact over there. The beings there bask now in the lesson, and they live harmoniously with each other in ways that we can't even imagine. We will have it here. We will have it here when we're done working out our darkness. They might all have wicked telepathy and empathy for what they live through. Okay, things like that. Really cool stuff. But for an example, I'm sorry, but the way we do hospitals here is almost repulsive. The way they hammer everything down on the nurses, because it takes that kind of beast of burden mentality to do that job, and ego, little boy politics, will take advantage of that all day. Okay, can you imagine what it would look like if we applied the Gemini lesson to healthcare? Just a quick example for you. Those annoying commercials would go away. instantly. The pill pushing every commercial break would end immediately, and it'd go back to just doctors waiting for people to get themselves sick like they used to. And doctors got a lot more respect back then too. Go figure. Back when they weren't all just chemical salesmen. Okay? So Gemini isn't really twins, it's mirrors. Every other human is a mirror to you. Especially those you actually interact with. Not so much the characters, the people that TV tells you about. Those are fiction. Especially the reality TV. They have nothing to teach you. Those people have nothing to teach you. Reality TV. Your boss, your customers, your kids and family, your pets even. Those are your mirrors. We use each other to learn ourselves. The reality stars, that's to distract you from reality. Sorry, but that's the God honest truth. That's what we start calling them, the distraction from reality stars. But you gotta sit and, you ever have that moment, but here it comes. You ever have that moment where you go, why did I say that? Damn, why did I do that? Answer yourself for once. Sit and answer why you did that. There's an answer there. There is an answer. It's dark. You're not going to like it. But yeah, you need to sit. Lock yourself in a room or something and answer yourself for once. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? You need to wonder how you attracted every other human into your life, because there is something you're supposed to learn from them in your interaction with them, because it all creates a third thing, the life you're all leaving behind, and it matters. It adds up to humanity's story. So we use each other in our dramas, all to learn how much it really hurts when we pretend too hard. Eventually, Gemini, they got to the point where it was either learn this lesson or literally destroy each other, and they were rewarded with glory when they turned it all around. We still have people that don't tip when people bring them food. Gemini would remind you, it does, it reminds you of the positive, energetic exchange you put over your meal when you tip and you show gratitude. Okay, tipping is equal to praying before a meal. Do it. There's something you can look up called the 7 Mirrors of the Essenes. It involves Greg Braden, who I'd really love to meet someday. And, this just shows that there was an entire human movement once upon a time trying to understand here what was learned the hard way and completely there in Gemini. They were most likely the souls that came here from there. If they were trying to do their thing here as humans, so it would be in our collective data bank. A handful of them must have come here. This is a big deal. And there's your meaning of it. So we don't have to live their horrors. Okay? And it was bad. The Gemini lesson is here in our collective minds. Thank you. Thank them. The Essenes. But now we got to apply it. We got to decide to run the app that's been installed a long time ago. That is Gemini. That is all the Zodiac. But Gemini has the ability to see each other as fellow zeros. Just children of the universe here for our own reasons, playing as we will. We can have limitless fun with each other, or we can terrorize each other. There's always been a choice, but never before like now, for us Earthlings. Humanity has actually become too precious to the rest of the universe. And it's because of the bullshit we put ourselves through like no one else. We have a dark history that we forgot about for a reason. Okay? But we've been free of our need of violence for a few years now. After we stopped fighting and blaming each other for our problems. January 6th didn't have to happen. But after we stop fighting and blaming each other for our problems, what awaits us is lifetimes of harmony. Get your kids out of the military and stop dating cops. Politics is using them as instigators because real people aren't about that tough guy bullshit anymore. Okay? We left that in the late 90s with Janko Jeans and all that pissy rock music that ruined Woodstock. Men are changing. The masculinity is, ego is leaving. We're trying to get divine masculine into the collective of humanity. And that means that the men just want to support something good. Just be something good. And men are just waiting to support something that's worth a damn. Okay? That's a big secret. I should have said that louder. But would any movies depict, the Gemini lesson? Pretty much any story with family members feuding until the pain from it brings them back together would be displaying that lesson. Hollywood likes it better when these stories end in someone's tragedy, though. It really appeals to the ego. Unfinished business or ultimate revenge. I got my brother that pissed me off. So they actually kind of ruin. They like to ruin that lesson when they try. But sit and consider the real lesson for yourself. Everyone's just a mirror to you, trying to teach you about yourself, the things you can't explore on your own. We're all just actors. Me too. Extras in your drama that makes up the story of humanity. So help decide if it's a good story or not. Use everyone else to help figure yourself out. Your kids are your DNA. This means you're seeing your problems in another person, you and the other parent together. Okay? If you don't figure yourself out, it's up to your kids to figure it out. But if they do, your ego's going to be jealous as hell. And this is how generational curses function. The parent tends to want to get in the way. And that's something you see on TV all the time. No one's really put in your life to make it harder. Just to challenge you in some way that you don't like being challenged, so you resist. There are no mistakes. Everyone you bump into is trying to make you stronger and wiser. And that's the lesson. That's a little bit of what they live through to obtain their meaning. It took interstellar war and oppression until they realized they're all just the same zero child, playing her with the same toy that is this reality. And someday we will realize this reality is our toy. I can't do without you, though. That's why, I go back to my first video. Pretty good. I'm going to try to do Scorpio next, then a Cygnus, and then I also got Aries before we move on from the constellations. But see, I don't have them all. I'm at 25%. But this is why I keep telling you guys to go. Someone go and try and visit Capricorn or something and comment. There's one more I do have a huge secret about, but it's Native American constellation, and it's a whole different thing. But you're going to love that story. It explains a lot. This is Ilana Opens Up, message 13. Click the like if you can appreciate my message. Subscribe for more of these stories. I have so many more. And please share me with someone you know who likes horoscopes. Send this to a Gemini. And talking to constellations is one of the many things I'll be showing you, what we're capable of now as humans. So stay with me. Thank you for listening. Much love and goodbye.